So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chaingang. We're live here from the Old Beer Cellar Studios here at Full Speed Events with the latest Donny Chaingang. And gotta say, really pleased that it's the second of our Nonnas Weeks Donny Chaingangs. And on the first one, which was on Tuesday, 2 days ago, we ran the random number generator for members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, the way that we keep the show on the road and the wheels turning in Zwift. And two winners. First of all, first winner was Keith Hayward. Keith winning £100, and that is to spend either in Nonnas on a fantastic meal, on wine, on chocolate, on tiramisu, whatever. And that's one option. The other option is to get it and spend it in the online shop. And don't forget, you can get onto all of those at www.nonnas.co.uk. Now, we've got another draw this evening and two more vouchers to go out. Again, £100 and £25, because £25 on Tuesday was won by Ian Bibby. And Ian, I'm sure, will be enjoying that. Although whether or not he spends it all on profiteroles, we will no doubt find out in the future. But it's just one way that Russ and I can say a massive thank you to everybody who's been a member of the DCG gang, is that we keep on getting the draws, we keep on getting the discounts, we make sure that you get all of the information, the route descriptions, the links, everything comes to you first as a member of the DCG gang. You are number one priority, because without you, we just can't make the show happen, we can't make the ride happen, and Russ and I would be busy doing other things. It's really that straightforward. So a massive thank you, guys. Now, speaking of Russ, I know he's been really busy, but let's see if we can get hold of the bear himself. Let's see if he's an underground bear or whether he's got a habitable home above ground. Hello, Russ. How are you?
I'm all right, mate.
How's the pain cave coming?
Oh, it's all right, just chipping away now at the, trying to get wiring and that sorted. So yeah, it's just steady away now. We've got it watertight and lock and loaded. So yeah, it's just the exciting stuff begins now. Actually designing it.
Excellent. So time to start working out what's going where and how it all is going to fit together. That must be great. Great fun. And we had great fun on Tuesday. We had our Bologna alla Nonnas, which is the new version of the Bologna course that we've used extensively with 3 climbs, but this time a little bit more friendly, a little bit more fun, and a lot more sociable with 2 climbs. Did it work for you?
Yeah, it was definitely Bologna alla Nonnas. I think it had a bit of spice in there the last time up there. It was it was going, and it was good fun. I spoke to a few people, saying they really preferred it. Even if they were on their own at the top, they could regroup. We saw there was the 3 away, then another 2, then myself and Lavery getting hunted down by big group of about 8 in the end. I think 2 or 3 groups merged together, so they were hunting us down, and we were trying to hunt I think Thorpe and someone else down. So yeah, it was good. It's like I said, I see people on the Facebook saying, "Oh, the hardest bit was going downhill," and it is. You think I should be cruising here, but you're going 4 or 5 watts per kilo downhill, and it's all good fun.
It is all good fun. Well, we've got a giveaway to do, because it is the second of the Nonnas rides today, and this is a massive thank you to the members of the DCG gang. But we do have to say, you need to get your membership in, guys, don't you, Russ? Because it's heading towards the end of May, and that means that if people don't renew, they're not going to be getting the emails, they're not going to be getting the links, and not going to be in with the chance of all the giveaways and the talks.
Yeah, giveaways, talks, discount codes, inside tips. So yeah, join the DCG gang, keep the show on the road, on the turbo, as we call it. So keep it coming.
Well, time to do the giveaway. So I'm going to leave you in the background, able to chat, Russ. So let's get some numbers rolling. How this works: every single one of the members is allocated a number from 1 to 106, and those people who won, Keith Hayward and Ian Bibby, on Tuesday, are not eligible. Same for whoever gets the first prize today. They can't win the second prize as well. So if their number came out twice in a row, which would be a minor miracle, then we'll put the number generator back on again. So our riders in with, I think it's 1 in 106 chance of winning the very first of the prizes, which is £100 to spend at Nonnas. Russ, if you won £100, what would you spend it on?
Probably just a lovely meal at Nonnas, you know. Maybe put some alcohol on the bill, I think, for sure.
You definitely could have with £100. I know Emma and I went over to do a little bit of research, as you do, and I think we spent £80, and we were definitely there was a bit of alcohol. Not for me, obviously. You know, I was nominated driver, but the Yellow Beacon on the women's ride was definitely carbo loading with grapes. That is for sure. So I'm going to pull this in. Speak of the devil, live on the camera. No longer. It is Emma here, so Emma's going to adjudicate. That was good timing, Emma. So
right.
We're going to press the button. So we've got 2 yellow beacons. We've got the one for tonight and the women's yellow beacon. We're going to press stop, and it's number 76, which is Emma.
Mick Clark.
So Mick Clark, Mick, you have won £100 voucher, and we're going to hit the button again. So here we go, and it's going to roll again. If Mick comes out again, then we are going to basically not let him have 2 prizes. He can't have £125 worth of vouchers. Russ says he'd spend it on a good meal and some alcohol, but we never did that. We wouldn't do a thing like that, would we?
Never.
No. Right, ready. Next number is going to be...
Go!
57. It is Keith Richards. Not that Keith Richards, the other Keith Richards. So Keith Richards, Keith, you've won £25 voucher. We'll be sending you an email, guys, to sort that out. Thank you. All fair and square, Emma? That is
Looks like a good job to me.
Thank you very much. Thanks for my in-flight refueling as well. Chucky bars as well. Definitely being bad. Yeah, lion bar, definitely. So no bear bars. We need a bear bar, Russ. That's what we need to do next.
Yeah.
Bear bar, that would be good. In partnership with Lion or Nestle, that would be good. Cool, good stuff. Let's head across to Russ and just do a little check-in on the route. So, Russ, quick one for today's route. Crit City, Town Dolphin. Always fun.
Very fun, yeah. We've done this twice. We've done the other one as well. So I prefer this one. It's got a little cobble climb in it. So it's good. It's good fun.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And just seeing Mick Clark is actually on the Donny Chaingang tonight. So, Mick, you are number 1, and he's done a great job. I'm just hunting, literally. You know, one of those things when you want a pen and there's never a pen around? It's definitely one of those days.
Pen and paper.
I've got loads of paper, mate. It is literally underground here. So it is going to be Keith Richards taking £25. It's going to be Mick Clark taking the £100. He's on here. Mick on that climb should have a good time. Any tips for Mick on the climb if he's eating too much tiramisu, Russ?
You might be right. You know, it's only a short one. Punch it at the bottom. The tiramisu should get you over the top, and then slide and glide back onto the wheel. So yeah. Get the tiramisu down, you pull with a quick shot of the old Nonnas doppio espresso.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. Right, we're going to let Russ brief the troops. We've got about 4.5 minutes to go, which means we'll run through the map very quickly. We'll catch up with you hopefully later on, Russ, although this one's a bit frantic, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, just let me have a cruise round, Mark. I can't talk the ride and negotiate around the corners and everything as well.
We will see. We'll see. You never know. We might wait and pick on you with a nice high heart rate. Cheers, mate. So great to catch up with Russ, and let's head straight across to the map and show you where we are heading out in the world of Crit City here on Nonnas Week. A massive thank you to Zwift Hacks and Zwift Insider for all of the detailed information. And Downtown Dolphin, we're going to cover 25 laps, but we're technically going to cover 25.95 laps because, as you can see, we come in just after the gantry rather than just before it, which means we've got to do almost an entire lap before we then do our 25 laps on top, which means that we're going to cover 25.96 laps. There will be a countdown beacon on the right side. The lap bond will count down as we go through the straight. Now, yellow beacon, Russ knows this inside out. The course, Russ, of course, the bear, the man responsible for keeping it all together as long as possible, keeping the pace just right. At the back, it is going to be one of our early regulars, and he's come back from a little bit of a pause. It's Andrew Singleton, and Andy Singleton, one of the regular riders. He's on Red Beacon, on driving the red bus, so well worth keeping an eye on that. It is a really hard job tonight, and I'm glad Andrew's on there because it is absolutely tough stuff. because the number of riders that will be shelled, there'll be people on 1, 2, 3, 4 laps down. Does it sound like I'm making my excuses in? I am, because if this was racing, I wouldn't be. I love this course. We go round this in a clockwise direction. We come in just to the top. We drop right the way down. We go around the right-hand loop. We then go up that little kicker. It's about 8% at max, and it's brilliantly hard because it's on the cobbles as well. So it's all about power. It's all about smashing it up that climb and staying with the beacon. If you get distance from the beacon, you're going to be in trouble if you go off the back. And as it's shown, gaps open quickly, but maybe not as quick as we saw when we were out on the course at Bologna, on Bologna alla Nonnas. So, quick lap round here, 1.93k round the lap. We're going to cover that very quickly indeed. Expect a fast and furious night. The key here is to understand where the yellow beacon is. It's absolutely critical that you know where the beacon is. There's no point being off the back or off the front on this one, because the pack will move incredibly quickly indeed. Even when it's not going that hard, the pace will be fast because of the layout of the course. It is super fast. It's a warm night out there, warmest night we've had for a long time. It's sweltering down even in the beer cellar, the old beer cellar studios. And down here we're underground, so generally it is a little bit cooler, but we will see how our riders get on. It looks like pretty much everybody is all together. The aim of this to keep everyone together to the go, go, go. You can see we're now into that last minute. Now, key here is to remember, we lap 25 full laps plus the 0.95. Eyes on the right hand side of the screen as we go through and underneath the line. Aim is to stay with the yellow beacon until the go, go, go. At that point, all the rules gone. It's all about taking whatever pace you need, and that is where it's critical. Now, our riders are getting lined up and ready to go. We're going to see who is going to take this out and lead over the line, but at the moment we are aiming for everybody to head out nice and smoothly from the line. And it's not like your typical Zwift race. Now, a Zwift race, if you've ever raced on Zwift, you will know that you've basically got to be almost at max heart rate the moment that you come out from the gun, the moment that the flag is dropped, and away we go. Now, that's not the same on the Donny Chaingang. We've got time to get everybody in together into a big group, and that's what we're looking for. So let's jump in with Mr. Richards at the moment, and that's who we are riding in with right now. Let's jump in with the ride here on the Donny Chaingang and watching Keith Richards in action. Looks like the rider's already heading out and riding pretty smoothly. The helicopter up in the skies, and looks like most of the riders are out and onto the course now. Lots of buildings today. We're going to be trying to jump up in the air with the drone. Those of you who have been watching the last few weeks since the latest update, the drone camera controls have changed slightly, and it means that the interface that we're trying to make work between the hardware and the software not necessarily going to take effect. But at the moment, these riders not too strung out in the beacons at the moment, sitting in near the back. So time to hit the roads. Let's see who has got the pace tonight to ride with everybody. In with Russ at the moment, and as you can see, if you've not watched before, Russ's heart rate, wattage and revs per minute shown in the top left hand side. Centers at the top, we have speed, trip distance, we have the meters climbed, the time rolling, and of course far right top side we have the map currently on 3D view. You can see it's basically a figure of 8 style. Goes down the bottom right hand loop, then take the left hand loop in a second. So we take the left turn. You can see the riders all riding well at the moment, and we're just going to take a little bit of a look up in the air here as they come around. They take the left hand turn here, and the riders are keeping it pretty smooth at the moment. Hopefully not too many people hitting those cobbles too hard, and we're on to the cobbles now. So this is where the riders get a feel for the pace on the climb. It's a very short climb. You can see at the moment 6%. Up over the cobbles we go, and looks like pretty much everybody getting out of the blocks together. Our beacons in as we come up over the top of the climb. Looks like our riders in and going to be heading along now. There's the false flat along the top here. It shows as 0% as we come along here. However, once you take this sharp right hand turn, it's not all that easy because you've got this second slight rise up to the crossing point, and then it's a downhill, but it never ever feels like a downhill. Believe me, it is usually a pretty tough stuff on the way down here. We then go into the roller coasters. If we jump in with Rush, you'll see it is really a tight right and left, swinging down the descent, the pace picking up 45 kph, going back up the hill, dropping back down, back up the little riser once again. We're going to take the left hand turn, and it's going to be the full on U-turn. And already it looks like the line well strung out at the moment, so we're going to be heading round. It's 25 laps to go as we hit the line this time into the U-turn. So just coming around that turn, and as Russ has got around the turn, we're going to be dropping back down, and this is where the 25 laps to go marker comes up. You can see it on the right hand side now, 24 to go, so we're going to do 24 laps from now, and Russ already ticking it along nice and smoothly. Looks like it's just on the wheels there of Kieran Brown. One or two riders just distanced a little bit. I think we're going to need to have a little bit of a blob up here as we see riders just jumping back in with the group. We're just going to jump in with Mr. Singleton, our beacon here. Looks like Taylor's off the back and just moving up, and Neil from the crosscast clearly having tech issues. Either that or the he is getting to the man from Gritty. He's clearly not put the right undervest on today. He hasn't got his Gritty one in action. And the core kit from Gritty on a 15% discount for members of the DCG gang until the end of May. If you're not a member of DCG gang, make sure you do join. We've also launched a new ticket, which is the one that will run until the end of the year. At the moment, that is June, July, August, September, October, November and December, all as one block ticket. So if you've enjoyed it so far, you don't want to have to buy a ticket every month. Really simple. You can just join for the rest of the year, and once you've paid the donation in and got your receipt, you'll be on every email that we send out. Will come out to you, and that will let you know that we are where we're heading, what the route is, what the direction is, and what the plan is as we head out and around. Now in with Taylor up on to the climb at the moment, and looks like everybody just stretched out as we go up that climb. And again, the group's just stretching a little bit on the climb, and that's just the pressure on the front. Looks like usual suspects on the front, unable to modulate the pace properly. So plenty of PBs have been set now. This is a route that's rarely used as a ride. It's most often used as a race. It's a great Swift HQ race. The Future Works race gives anti-sandbagging. It's also a great way of testing out, seeing how people are riding. Now, one of the people who we know is going to be riding well, Tom Lindley in here. Tom now clipped in and going to be absolutely spot on when he's got those dialed. We'll see if he's all got them set up properly. If in doubt, mate, give us a shout, or any of the riders on the Chaingang, they're all going to be able to help you out. In the meantime, looks like the front of the group yet again clearly on a little bit of a mission. So one of the men who has supported the Chaingang in Taylor in the gang at the moment, currently in that camo kit in the grey, Ian from 1080, responsible for Here Comes the Sun, and Oakley August. And I've got to say a massive thank you to Oakley, to 1080 for all of their support as we go in through the line. You can see 23 laps to go. So the pack holding reasonably well together, not too ferocious. One or two riders just starting to be distanced a little bit here. Just going to go take a little bit of a check back behind Russ. Looks like Patterson sitting on the back of the pack. May well be that other riders have had a drop out, but it looks like everybody's in together once again. So the call from Russ, 2.5 watts per kilo. The watts per kilo is the easiest measure that is most consistent across all the riders. It's not consistent across everybody, believe me. It does vary depending on your size and your weight. If you're a bigger rider, 2.5 watts per kilo on the flat means that you can absolutely muller along. If you are a lighter rider, then you can basically fly up the hills, but you will struggle on the downhills. That's definitely what happened as the riders went out and around the course in Bologna. The lighter riders really fighting to stay in the group. They were okay if they were in the pack, but staying in the group was critical. If you didn't stay in the group, you weren't going to be in the right place at the right time. So one of the key things we will say on the Donny Chaingang is all about sitting in with the group. It's about sitting around that yellow beacon. The way not to ride it is to hurtle off the front of the group, because what it does is it drags everybody out. And as you can see, one of our riders regularly sat on the front in the green and yellow, regularly stretches the group out. Now this is great for them, but it's rubbish for everybody else, because what it does is it strings out, and you can see now that the red beacon's being drifted backwards. The group is lining out behind the rider, and it's because the rider in the front hasn't got the rear view mirrors in, not engaging them and not modulating the pace for the riders. Comes back together again, but by now it's too late. Lost 3 or 4 riders off the back. So this is why when we talk about staying on the group, it's so important to stay with the main group, because whilst the stronger riders are able to stay with the group, doesn't work all the way through. Now it's very rare that we find that the riders doing this are riders who are the strong riders at the finish. It's generally people who actually aren't in at the finish. And you see here riders being drifted off the back and now having to fight the way back on again. So this rider now distanced by the pace of the group on the back, having to push really hard to get back in, burning up calories, burning up energy, burning up watts, and unable then to stay into the end, so destroying their rhythm. So when people go hard off the front, then that is why we always say take it steady, sit around the yellow beacon. There's plenty of time to work hard. Now some of the strong riders will go off the back. Great example of this is Craig Herring. Craig in here in the Downey cycling coach kit. Well, you see Craig is strong enough to be in the front of the group. He's strong enough to rip this group to pieces. Plays it smart, sits at the back, doesn't work too hard. If somebody needs a hand off the back, then he'll drop back and help them out. Now Craig always up the front. Oddly enough, the man who is sat right on his wheel in the black is Kieran Smith. Kieran Smith, regular winner and regular fast rider across the line. Another rider who's not afraid to drop back and help the riders behind to put the effort in behind the group rather than off the front of the group. Now I know sometimes we sound like a stuck record because we do repeatedly say this on Facebook, on Instagram, on emails. We ring people up, we make phone calls, we refuse entry for people, and as of the autumn we will be blocking people from actually riding if they're repeat offenders of ripping it apart. But we need the guys in front to take it steady because it ruins it for everyone else. And as Russ and I have said, we want riders playing the game, not playing the game. You'll see here Kieran waiting and waiting and waiting at the back of the group, comfortably riding up there and pushing on as they come to the line and not gone off the front. He's literally gone from the back to the front of the group and got a good timing. Now, just going to be in with James Little, another of our quick cover riders here. Little currently sporting that yellow and black jersey, and looks to me like that's Craig Herring, who's just sat there at the back. And you see this duo just coming back on. Craig just putting in a bit of an effort here just to bring the rider back into the back of the pack. And if you're a strong rider, this is the best way to get the workout. There's quite a lot of science behind how the workout is structured, about how the ride is structured, and that is because Russ, as part of Down in Cycling Coaching, myself and Dean have sat down and worked out exactly how we want it to run, how we get the most effect for the most people, and that's why we see so many people getting FTP gains and increases. That's why we get so many people getting those improvement, and this is how it should look. Big blob, nice big pack, nobody stringing it up off the front, and Russ will be sitting at the watts per kilo, and you can see the yellow beacon, the red beacon, all very close together. So nice and smoothly done. The group coming down in to collect another lap. Remember, Russ keeping his eye on those watts per kilo as he goes in and through. 22 laps done as he goes in and underneath the gantry, and you can just see one or two riders who maybe just got distance on that climb, just pushing back in. But look at this, basically the group, one big blob, and that is what we're after. If we jump up on the screens, we're going to get a good shot, I think, down on pretty much everybody. So the red beacon, and able to roll around the back of the group, make sure that they are looking after our riders. And if we just take a little bit of a look, the yellow beacon sitting in the pack as well. So just to the right screen there, looks like that is going to be Jimmy Allen. Now Jimmy, one of our regular riders on the Chaingang, the rider who's regularly helping everybody out and has stood in for Russ, a great ride leader, really good with the communication and the riding, and has legs to finish it off as well. Just in that Mondrian kit there, the La Vie Claire similar look-alike kit from Zwift there. And Jimmy, a regular rider. Jimmy, of course, one of those riders who's got a big weekend coming up. And regulars Rob Copeland and Ian Brooks are heading out as part of the tour of Warwickshire, the Yorkshire Cancer Research Ride. And if you want to see what they're up to, how crazy are they? Well, they're really crazy. It is going to be a big weekend. Make sure you go onto the Donny Chaingang Facebook page. There's some great posts up there from people like Lisa Leverton and as well as Jimmy and the gang, all about the rides that are going to be taking place in the people's challenges to help raise money for Yorkshire Cancer Research. So the eagle-eyed amongst you will know who has just been sitting up on the front regular suspects over the top of the climb, along the top and down the roller coasters, and this is the result. Break in the group. The actions on the front, and you can see a lot of the regular big hitters in this group together here. Paul Whitelaw in the orange, busy man today with the sunshine and the ice cream selling thick and fast. Down in here, looks like Jimmy Allen in there, looks like Gareth Mason in the red and black, just sitting on the back of the group there. He's one of the guys you've got to watch out in a sprint every time. Matt Gilmore in here as well, so it looks like Gilmore in this group. Just keeping an eye, Gilmore in that dark blue strip as they head along here. And it looks like this group content to set the pace as instructed, and that is going to keep the pack all together. See Carl Johnson in here, John Catley's in this group, Rob Varty in here as well. Rich Dobson in the pack around Rob, and Bobby Mason doing the same. James Little and Nick Dorsey in here. Nick, of course, the best dressed man in the Donny Chaingang. Even when I'm wearing a shirt, I'm definitely not as well dressed as he is. You can see Sonia Inslee's back in the back on the Chaingang with Miss Cookie as well. Ted back on board with Donahue in here, Andy Scotland. So up the climb, the group has come. Smart legs at the back, keeping them rested as long as possible, keeping an eye on the group as they go up over the top of the climb. This is going to hold it together. The yellow beacons on the front, just patrolling the front and keeping an eye on everybody. So the pack holding together nicely on the way around. So just a quick reminder for people who maybe missed the live draw earlier on. Second of our draws as part of Nonnas Week. Nonnas are one of our new supporters on the Donny Chaingang, and Nonnas in Sheffield, of course, established on Exhall Road. They have had some great guests in there, and members of the DCG gang will know one particular celebrity who's been down there, because they'll have got seen the pictures and the details in the members email. The members email going out to all of the members the weekend before with the ride links to get onto Swift. Not only do the members get the ride links, but they also get course profiles, links to fellow viewers, fantastic stats and profiles to the Swift Insider links to the last time we were out here on the YouTube channel, wherever we are heading. The take from Swift Insider from myself, Mark Payne. Also, of course, discount codes coming out to all of the members as well, and exclusive giveaways like the one we have had for Nonnas for the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and really pleased to say that we've given away our two first prizes and our two second prizes now this week. First prize on Tuesday was Keith Hayward. First prize tonight, Mick Clark, and Mick telling us he's going to buy a lot of pizza. Good luck with that one, mate. The second prize in Bibby and Keith Richards. So both those riders getting £25 vouchers to spend. So they're going to be able to spend that online if they are not near to Nonnas, or they can come in to Sheffield and dive down there. And I can recommend pretty much everything on the menu. Absolutely love all of it. Spent plenty of time down there, as has Russ, and a regular haunt for lots of our professional riders as well. So people like Ben Swift down there to celebrate his World's win, Connor down regularly as well. Pretty much all of the Sheffield cycling mafiosi, the clan, all down there. Just seen this group at the back here, just dropping back. Looks like the red beacon's going back for the yellow beacon at the moment. So the red beacon and the regular names heading back in, and let's have a little look up there. So we're going to drop in to Russ. Let's see who Russ has got company. Andy Singleton, the red beacon there. Russ, Paul Whitelaw in the group. Good to see Paul in here. Paul, regular with updates not only on the weather in Ambleside, which ice creams are selling up there, and the way my throat feels today, mate. I might be getting shipped some down to Sheffield, that's for sure. But this group rolling around here, all helping the riders up, and just seeing Jimmy Allen on the back of the pack, just the red beacon behind, and Paul Whitelaw, the red beacon, Jimmy Allen in here, Russell Osman, looks like Kinlock's in here as well. Mr. Gilmore in the dark blue, red and black, that's going to be a Mason in there. Thorpe just rolling back a little bit at the moment. Always a dark horse. Is it going to be his day today? Thorpe is one of those riders who we know is going to be in at the finish. Let's take a look over the top. Nick Dorsey in the pack here, just pushing his way up. Neil from the Crosscast on the climb. Martin Bolt in here. So just seeing Chris Ball, Sutcliffe, looks like Douse just near the back of that group as it rolls up over the top of the climb. So speaking of Nick Dorsey, haven't seen Nick's kit for a little while. Let's have a little look at the Best Dressed Man in Cycling's kit. At the moment, spotting a very nice ruler number. And, good to see Nick in the pack riding nice and smoothly. Tom Lindley in here with Donny, Peacock in this group. Dr. D's in the gang. Vicia in from Brixton Cycles as well. Looks like Mason in here, Pattison in the pack, Carl Johnson in this. It's holding together quite nicely at the moment as we make our way down here. And we're going to be seeing the numbers this pack rolls around. Just keeping our eye on Nick at the moment. So around the turn we go. It is a really tricky finish to get right when we come towards the end of the ride, because you've got the kicker of the hill just a little bit further out, and then you've got the drop down the roller coasters, then you come around that U-turn. So for those who can rate, it is 3 watts per kilo. 3 watts per kilo, please. So the pace steadily building. 26 minutes nearly on the clock. The pack rolling together really, really well. No excuses for not being able to see people. We've got less than 100 riders on the Chaingang, and that makes it much easier to keep it smooth, to see where everybody is. It means there's no excuses for not knowing where the yellow and the red and all of the riders are. You can always see yellow and red, no matter how many riders are actually on the ride. What you can't see is necessarily all the people in between. However, tonight less than 100 people on here, and the group are looking really good at the moment. And remember, the numbers it is 3 watts per kilo. So it looks like Andy Singleton is able to keep the pace here at 3 watts per kilo. The red beacon, we said it was going to be tricky. Let's have a little bit of a look. I think at the moment he's getting a bit of an easy ride, is our red beacon. So Andy Singleton is our red beacon in here, riding, and as he said, he's going to try and hold that 3 watts per kilo. And we do say the red beacons, people have been asking what's going on. Andy says it's not easy. He's been dropped 3 times. It is, mate. This is the perils of being the red beacon, because you have to drop back, bring riders up, drop back. Just think of the job satisfaction, mate. Don't think of the money, because it's a volunteer role. There isn't any. I know that one. It is looking good though, and I've got to say a massive thank you to all of our beacons. People who are really experienced, like Andy Singleton, are absolutely critical to making the Chaingang happen. And this is where it counts. That experience counts, because he knows that nobody's off the back. There's nobody been dropped off the back. And at the moment, if he can stop the laughter, he's got a chance of actually staying and keeping hold of the gang and rolling on. Whether he can do this at 5 watts per kilo, I am not so sure, but we will see. At the moment, looking good as he goes over the top here. Sonny said he can't ride at 5 watts per kilo. We could tell you some origins of the name Singleton. Some people are mean and say it's a derivative of simpleton. That's definitely not true. It is, some say it's a single ton, and there is a reference to the weight of the riders on Zwift. That's definitely not true as well. But just think, and it could be worse, you could have a name like Harry. You get every fishy joke known to man. So the group are riding well together here on the Donny Chaingang, live on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel with me, Matt Payne, from Full Speed Events. And we're starting to see real life starting to wind up, starting to kick in, starting to get more and more events coming on. Don't forget, of course, that we will be here all the way through the summer, and we'll be bringing you the coverage on Full Speed Events here. We have some great events coming up. I'm really looking forward to being in real life. Going to be down at the National Mountain Bike Series, first in real life gig for me since the World Championships across at Leogang, and going to be really interesting to see how people are racing. And that's the first national series. That's going to be at Fowey, down at the Woody's Bike Park, and don't think it's all just jumps. There's some great big hills, some big climbs as you'd expect in Cornwall. Well worth the trip down there. Entries for that are going to close very shortly, in fact this weekend. So guys, you need to make sure you get your entries in if you want to ride. Looking forward to seeing loads of DCG gang, Donny Chaingang riders down there, and that is going to be in about 10 days time, in fact, that we're down outwards, and really looking forward to seeing riders at the very first in real life gig for a little while. Once that kicks off, then it's going to get really busy. We have, of course, the Otley Crit coming up, and really looking forward to being on the mic for that one. We've got lots of events. The Beaumont Trophy and the Curlew Cup a little bit later in the year, and might well have some more exciting news as well. But of course, the Donny Chaingang bringing you the best riders, as Tom Lindley now gets a lift from Andy Singleton. This is where we see what Andy Singleton's made from. Is he made of a ton of pure Sheffield steel, or is he going to crumble as the pressure comes on and Lindley starts going on? So you just see Andy Singleton riding with the fastest setup on the flat that you can ride solo. That is on the multicoloured disc wheel there, with the deep multicoloured rim, deep rim as well, and that on an aero frame means that it's the fastest setup. It's actually faster than the Tron bike on a flat course on the Zwift Concept 1. But if you want to find out which bike to ride and where, then make sure that you get yourselves on to the Zwift Insider pages. So you just see these two riders at the moment just being distanced a little bit. They're currently 20 seconds off the back of the main pack, and that's what happens. The slightest irritation, you can be in real trouble. Certainly it looks like that is the case at the moment. So Neil just posing the question, is Woody's bike park, the first round of the National Series, still open? The answer to that, Neil, is yes, it is. We can actually tell you it is still open. 2 days competition, Saturday and Sunday at Woody's Bike Park, all part of the National Cross Country Mountain Bike Series, and the entry still open at the moment. So just to see Mr. Herring drop back a little at the moment. So just going to zoom in on our riders. They come up onto the cobbles, and you can just see Craig Herring here dropping back to help out Andy Singleton and Tom Lindley. Lindley's one of our younger riders. I think Tom only 13 or 14, and definitely one of the riders who we know has got a big future ahead, and getting used to no doubt those clipless pedals. Sunday and Tom pushing on here. Looks like Herring having dropped back for him. He's now got his work cut out a little bit. Looks like Alan Parsons at the back here, and Matt Gilmore just up the road. So Gilmore is on the back of the pack there in the blue, and just as we drop down here, you can just see those riders are a little bit distanced. We use the map at the top. We're going to try and see it as we go around the turn where the chasing riders are behind Little and Gilmore at the moment, working the way onto the back of this pack. It is going to be 14 laps to go as they hit the line next time. These two are trying to get on there. The gap at the back, 16 seconds for Herring, 21 for Ridley, and looks like Singleton and Lindley, 24. So I think Tom Lindley now starting to struggle. Craig Herring has seen the danger. He's going to try and push on. Are the main group going to wait for him? Craig Herring having to push out some big numbers here. Just in an 8.5, I think, from Craig. So just going to take a little bit of a look. He kicked up to 8 watts per kilo, coming down with 14 laps to go. And Craig Herring now coming around that turn. He can see the group in front. He's got to close that gap down quickly. The pack have got the advantage, the mass of riders. The draft effect will make things a little bit quicker, and it means that you can see the amount of effort that Herring is having to put in here. 6 watts per kilo chasing on here. And it looks like the main pack, and Russ is sat in that pack doing 2.5 to 3 watts per kilo, which is the numbers Russ called last. And looks to me like Craig having to do 6.6 watts per kilo. Now, if Craig hadn't gone back to help somebody, this would have been energy he could have used in the finale. But it's great to see Craig coming in. Look at that. Mason's dropped back for him as well. So it looks like Mason, Sadler and Downing all having dropped back for Craig Herring there. And Herring getting back on a wave of thanks from Craig. I'm not surprised. It was great teamwork there by the gang at the back. And Mason in the red and black doing a real nice job there. And good to see the gang all back pretty much together again. So real good push back on there by Craig, and you can just see that's resulted in him being able to get back on the red beacon, a fair distance behind at the moment. So it looks like the gaps have opened up on that last time up the climb. The front of the pack just squeezed into pedals a little bit. Yeah, Craig Herring's legs now are going to be feeling that. That is certain. So remember, the aim is to keep the gang together. You just see the back of this pack, well strung out now. The riders in a long thin tail on the back of the whip. So Greg Herring just saying, just getting caught out there being helpful, but fortunately the pack pretty much all back together again, which you'll want to see. So coming through, it's going to be 13 laps to go. Just taking a little bit of a look towards the back of that. It looks like at least one rider just fighting to stay with the main group here. I think it's going to be Gary Patterson. Patterson just going to have to push on here. Come on, Gary, mate. Time to give a bit of a dig in here. Just get onto the back of the pack. So let's see if he can get on the back of this group. So Patterson just being distanced on those roller coasters. It's a bad time to get dropped because you've got a long, flat, fast section here. But Patterson about to make contact. He's got to get within 3 bike lengths of the group in front. Come on, Gary, give it some beans here, mate. This is where you've got to put a kick in. It's worth it to get onto the group. Otherwise, they are going to distance you on the climb. So big kick time coming round. You've got the right, the left, and the left to do it before we go on to the climb. The nearest rider is going to be Downing as our beacon driving the bus. Mr. Singleton collecting, looks like Alan Parsons. That's Mr. Ridley and Tom Lindley. But you can see at the moment Patterson here clearly feeling that chase is distanced once again. Now he's either got to have a big kick coming up the cobbles to get back in with the group. Now in front of him, Daryl Tashaw-Waller just being distanced a little bit. Daryl definitely one of those riders coming in at the finish, and this will be the testing time. Tashaw-Waller just pushing on now. Patterson on to the climb. Can he lift his pace and get himself back on? Tashaw-Waller going back for a rider looks like Vicia. Just getting a drop out on the British Cycles rider, having a drop out now. Tashaw-Waller just dropping back there just to give a hand. You can see, look at that. Came back, picked up Patterson, and then pushing on to help Patterson get back into the group. Now it's a 5-second gap from Jimmy Allen here back. So let's take a little bit of a view back. You can see it is currently 3 seconds to Daryl Tashaw-Waller, the rider who's going to come round that corner first. There he comes. Then it's going to be Patterson, who's currently at 5 seconds. They've got to chase hard here. They can't afford to let that gap go. And you can see Jimmy Allen now just drifting off the back of the bunch because he's paying attention. He's trying to keep the riders behind in that pack. The red beacon just going up on to the climb. So take the right turn at the top of the climb. As we look back from Jimmy, we're looking for those chasing the riders behind. Tashaw on out 5 seconds. Patterson at 6 seconds at the moment. So Jimmy Allen here could be in trouble. He's got a decent kick. He know he can be in at the end of the group, but let's see where it's going to be. So Jimmy Allen coming in to the gantry at the moment, and looks like there's a bit of a split in the leading group at the moment. Just started to fracture as he comes through. 12 laps to go for the riders at the moment, and 2 seconds is going to be Daryl Tashaw-Waller and Gary Patterson not all that far behind. So Neil from the Crosscast just checking whether the shoes is just unlocked make you any quicker in the game. I'm afraid they don't, mate. However, they do look very cool. So just watching these riders off the back of the group. This is the back of the main pack at the moment as they go down the straight. Just in gantry, it's quite confusing if you're riding, if you're in a little world of pain. You can soon find out the gantry isn't as close as you think it is. You've got the climb to do to get up over the top of the climb and back down once again. But this group are running reasonably well together. You can see on the map, top right hand side of your screen, Tashaw-Waller along with Jimmy Allen now distanced. Yeah, power ups going in as well. So look at that. There goes Tashil Waller in the black with the orange hat, just racing his way up through that group there. Clearly had the power to push on. Meanwhile, looks to me like Jimmy Allen is just going to be waiting for Patterson. I know Jimmy was planning on not going too hard today. Mr. Gilmore taking a little bit of a break. No laps out allowed. After one very infamous tour series that caused all the carnage. So taking the turn here, Cannon now the rider in trouble. The back of the group here pushing at 2.9, 3.5. 1 second to Dorsey, but the gaps have gone. Just taking a little bit of a look now. Cookie on the back here, Mason on the back. Looks to me like Dorsey on there, Sutcliffe on the back of that group. And these riders living dangerously, just sat on the back of the pack. It's a bit like riding the devil. You don't want to be the rider off the back of the group. And just have the gaps are opening. Up behind the riders, going to be 11 laps to go. And at the moment, the Yellow Beacon group just being fractured by the pace of the pack on the very front. Take a little look at this group, because I think just seen another rider or two just being spat out the back by the pressure being put on the front. If you watch the footage back, you know who's on the front doing the damage. Not my fault if you can identify them. So you can see Mason there just tapping off the pedal, taking the pressure off, just to sit in and around the rust, doing a really good job there, Gareth, to sit in with the back. You can just see just behind him is Kieran Brown in the flat cap going along the straight here. Back ticking along nicely down past the Zwift building. It's going to be dropping down the roller coaster very shortly. So it's like Alan Parsons, Andy Singleton and Tom together at the back of the pack, putting a nice steady pace on the way around there. Going to be working well together, I think. Little just taking a drink off the back of the group as we head down into towards the start-finish straight once again. So underneath the gantry we go. 10 laps left to go. 10 laps out of the 25 left to go. And you can see more PBs being set. This will look really good on the Strava details on the summary at the end of the game. And that is because you get faster and faster and faster. You get more and more kudos, more and more riders, the more you get PBs. And the way you get those PBs is to steadily ramp up the pace. 10 laps left to go. So apparently Colin Docker is watching. Great to see if he is, because Colin, an official I've had the pleasure of working with, also been on the mic plenty of times as Colin, so he knows exactly what it's like this side as well. And great to see Colin, and hopefully going to see Colin out at some real life events as well. So good evening, Mr. Docker, sir. Okay, so the riders now coming up the cobbled climb. They are in to less than 10 laps to go. They are coming up towards the top of the climb. Underneath the gantry they got the flatter section over the top, roll down the roller coaster section around the U-turn and in through the line, and the go has gone. So the gloves are off. There is no limit to the pace people can go at as they go down the straight here. And this is when we are going to see people really having to put the pressure on. We're going to follow Mason at the moment. So Mason is the rider in the red, and watch this as he makes his way up. He's kicking hard here because he wants to get himself right up to the front of the group. Another big kick coming from Mason on the rise as he goes over. We're sat above Mason. He's on to the heels of Downing, who's right at the front of the group. Mason quickly off the front here, and you can see now he is our leading rider. And he's got some company here. Douse, Varty, Kokin, Downing, Neil from the Crosscast in there for company. But at the moment, you can see that Mason is working really well now. Douse comes up alongside here. You can see Varty making his way through. Pritchard's in here as well tonight. Little, who was rolling around on the back, shooting the breeze for a long time. Sully on the front, as is Whitelaw. But this group, it is moving really quickly as Whitelaw goes on the front in the orange to the left-hand side, then onto the front of moves and Neil from the Crosscast. Then it's going to be Mason once again. The laps are going to tick down really quickly. Now on the right-hand side, it's Craig Herring, the man who's doing all of that work earlier on. Then it's Little going round. Varty moves up on the side of him, so it is a Little in the yellow and black stripes on the right hand side, moving up on his shoulder here is Varty. Gilmore's made it back in. Douse is in as well. Herring's in that group. You can just see Herring just pushing on the grey Downing cycling kit there. So Herring on the very front of the group. It's Whitelaw sitting alongside him. Whitelaw now leading this pack along. To the front comes Russ. So Russ is putting a dig in. He's chasing the riders in front. They're going to see the group coming behind. Russ puts the dig in over the top here. Heart rate's up at 136. There's still plenty left for Russ. He's gone on the front, and I think that is going to have whittled some of these riders down. He didn't like the composition of the group. He's gone hard to stretch this group out and to cause a little bit of damage back there. Will not be mean to go back to him, and look at that. Going up. Little, he's on the chase here. He's trying to close down Russ. Russ has shut the throttles off a little bit and just got to drop down to 1.6. So Russ must know the group's coming. Let's take a little bit of a look. There's Russ just up in front. Let's drop back from Little. Little can see the group coming behind here. And Little is putting a kick in towards the line here. Whitelaw, Kieran Smith coming now. It's Little on the very front of the group. So it's Little leading it out. He's got a slight advantage. So round the turn, leading them through the gantry. This time it is going to be a Little with what will be 8 laps. There it goes, the clock ticks. It's 8 laps to go. Little leads them through with 8 laps to go, but very quickly you can see over the top comes Gilmore. Mason looks like Whitelaw is in there, the fastest ice cream salesman in the West. Kieran Smith is in here. Has Kieran got the kick on him today to take this out? Kieran in the flat cap there in the black. One of our really fast riders. You've really got to keep an eye out for Kieran. Just on the right hand side, not expending too much energy as they come up the climb here. You can just see riders now being a distance behind this group. So at the moment, it looks like it is going to be a Little. Douse, Whitelaw in here. Looks like Gether is in the pack as well. Pritchard in the group. Downing now rolling up on to the front, and they are working really well here This group is working together, and it is going to be from this group we are going to see the winner come, I think, because all of these riders very, very quick. They're always in at the kill. They're always the riders who ride around Russ. As we go up on to those cobbles, you can see just how fast the riders are moving. Who's having a big attack, big dig coming up. Neil from the crosscast move right up the wheels there as they came up that climb. It's going to be really interesting to see who's going to take this out on the front. So it looks to me like Neil from the crosscast was the rider who put the damage in, but Pritchard going over the top there. So it looks to me like that is a very, very fast move as Varty moves up. Dowsey's right in this group as well. We're going to just dive in with him now. So Gilmore now putting the pressure on the pedals and just keeping that chain really tight at the moment. And you can just see this group are chasing after the youngster in front. He got to close that gap down at the moment, but it's Gilmore with a slight gap. He's literally 1 second. Alex Dowse, the rider in the black here, is chasing. So it's Dowse at the moment trying to chase down Gilmore. He's going to have the youngster. He's going to be on his heels as he come around the turn, around the inside of the turn. Quick turn on the inside there for Rich Dobson. As over the top comes Herring, then it's Mason in here. This is the drop down. It is 7 laps to go now. 7 laps to go. This pace is ferocious at the moment. These riders are absolutely hurtling along here. The speed 50 kilometers an hour as they come along the straight. No assistance from gravity here. And once again, it's Gilmore back on the front of the group. There's no easing of the pace as soon as somebody starts to take it easy. Someone else goes on the front. Look at this. I think Herring has just burnt up a power up. He has. So he's burnt up a power up. We're just riding with the rider in the Radovist jersey. This is Dowse at the moment, who's right in here. So Gilmore in here, Pritchard in here. Russ moving up at the moment. It is Russ who's gone on to the front. He knows how to ride this course. If you're feeling good, you come on here, you put the pressure on, you attack hard, and you make everybody else suffer on the climb. Now, has Russ got the power to do that? At the moment, you can see a number of powers going in, and it looks to me like Dowse now starting to be distanced. The rider we were watching just at the back of that pack and having to use that feather power up is going up along the side there of Russ, downing us onto the front. I think we're just seeing Craig Genther moving up, and Little, I think, is the rider who's got the very front. We're going to try and just jump in with Little once again. He's putting some big kicks on that hill. The chasers come from Gilmore. Look at Gilmore go. Gilmore is absolutely flying. He's just gone past Little there, and they're on that descent very, very quickly indeed. And look at Gilmore. He really is opening that gap up, and Whitelaw's seen the danger. He's seen Gilmore before on the hills. Now Whitelaw in the orange, chasing hard over the top of Whitelaw. You can just see everybody starting to have a pop because you can't stay on the front. The pace and rotation as you go on, it moves people around very, very quickly because of the drag, because of that aero drag as you go in through the top here. Just riding in with Craig Genther. Craig, another of our regular biggers, another man who is regularly working for all the rest of the riders on the Chaingang, going in and through. And you can see now with 6 laps to go, Genther doing the business on the front, but Mason now goes over the top. And once again, I don't think Genther would chase it down Mason, but everybody else will by the look of this. So just in with a Little, and the gap has gone here. Look at this. There's a slight pause in proceedings because they've let Mason open a gap. Dangerous, dangerous stuff this, because Mason has got a ferocious sprint. This man can kick out more watts than your average solar power station, and it looks to me like he's absolutely hammering along here. And it's got the pace currently set at 5.2 watts per kilo, 480 80 watts at the moment, and he can keep this pace going. There's more in reserve. We see some massive numbers come from Mason. Now, has he got the power to stay clear of the chasing group? It doesn't look like anybody's doing too much work, and Whitelaw's trying to come across here, so Whitelaw is in here. Now, Whitelaw, fueled by Ice Cream, based in Ambleside in the Lake District. One of our regular winners, particularly when it's watts per kilo that count. He lives in the lakes, he rides in the lakes, he does nothing but ride his bike and sell ice cream, and at the moment he's closing in on the hills as our leaders come through. They're over the top. That's the Martin Bolt group. They've gone past them. This is our two leaders at the moment. It's these two riders in here in the orange. That's Paul Whitelaw going on the front now. Mason is behind him. You see Mason just easing off the pressure, but the gap has opened behind to Mason, and it's Downing who's gone for it now. So Downing's gone hard. Russ Downing goes over the top of the riders, and yet again at the top of the climb, Little is strong. Now this is the portent of what is going to come on the very last lap. Little has got to be watched. They keep closing him down, but they're burning a lot of energy. Now Kieran Smith goes. Now Downing with Smith going round the outside of him. You can just see this group of three, a Little in the yellow and black. Then it's going to be Kieran Smith in the black with a flat cap on. Then Russ Downing in that Downing cycling kit. You can get it in real life, made by Elmore across in Lincoln, home of the national championships, as they come in towards the gantry. These are the leaders. They've got a 1 second gap. It doesn't sound very much on the group behind. It's nothing at all. Look at this. Pritchard comes across in that light blue jersey, and Pritchard is a man who's currently moving, I think, fastest of all this group. He's up on to the front here, but very quickly eases off the pressure here, and they're going to go past some more of our laps riders here, because this is how fast they're able to keep this pace going, and this is when you've really got to pay attention to the group. He says to himself as Gilmore goes through. Now this is where the group can fracture. You can get away if you're sneaky. So what one of my key tactics, I shouldn't say this on air, but one of the key things to do on this course, as you lap a rider, as you lap a group of riders, put a big dig in as you come into them. You can catch a number of riders from the same group that you're in out by putting a real hard dig in as you come in towards them. Use the draft of those riders on the way into them to come out the other side at pace, and you'll make everybody else suffer. If you don't get away, they've got to work really hard to get onto your wheels. Now onto the front goes Gensler, Pritchard in the blue. So it's Gensler in the green, Pritchard in the blue, a Little in the yellow and black. Neil from the crosscast moving up on the right hand side now. Is Neil going to have a dig here? He's taking it steady. He's just starting to put the pressure on here. Just taking a little bit of a look at Neil, but it's already a case that Darryl Tattershaw-Waller's gone over the top in the orange cap. So in the black with the orange cap, that's Darryl Tattershaw-Waller. But Neil from the crosscast quickly off the front here as he goes over the top, and Neil keeping the pressure on. Remember, Neil can talk the talk as well as walk the walk, because Neil, my co-host on the crosscast, and Neil looking like he means business. I think this will really suit Neil. I had the pleasure of riding with Neil in France on some very similar terrain to this, quick, sharp kickers, and Neil definitely a fighter. His sock choice may be questionable, but no one can question his speed when it comes out on the course here. Gilmore, crosscast Neil. Then Whitelaw just pushing on to the front in the orange, in the red and black is Mason. But on the front now, Darryl Tattershaw-Waller, orange cap in the all black kit, flat cap and black kit. And that is going to be Kieran Smith in there, Russ Downing in the group, Gilmore in there in the blue. And they're still heading out and around, and yet we still have the KOMs across in France. Neil with some KOMs, myself with the odd KOM out there, has to be said. All short, sprinty ones for a reason. So in we go around the turns. Whitelaw in there, and quickly Pritchard moves off the front in the blue, Little onto the front again. The laps keep ticking away. These riders know they have to do something about this pretty quickly now. They've got not a lot of time left. They won't want to leave it to that final climb, but they might do, if they're feeling that that is where they've got a chance. But everybody thinks they can go on the final climb. Another favourite tactic, go on the penultimate climb along with like the rest of the bunch, just to really rip people's legs up, or go, depends on how often you can kick, but go with 4 and 1 to go. That's often a favourite tactic. On the Chaingang, well, we have seen riders go clear and stay clear for 2 laps, for 3 laps at a time, but it takes a big rider, and it's usually done by one of the professionals when they come in and join us over the winter on the Donny Chaingang. We're looking forward to seeing the riders when they come back on and do the same again. So onto the climb, and Neil from the crosscast, he's putting the pressure on. Come on, Neil, harness those French miles in those legs. He's on the climb here, out of the saddle, and you can see there's plenty of power that's being put on here. Neil has got a good kick when he needs it. All that cross training, it's perfect for this. So if you ride cyclocross, you've got repeated kicks. It's basically kick rest, kick rest, kick rest, kick rest, kick rest, kick rest. That's all that happens on a cross race. There's the odd corner of the banks and the berms, but not all that many. It's all about being able to kick out of them, and that's exactly what Neil's been doing here. But has he done it once too often? Because Little is continuing to stretch this out at the front at the moment. The chase is on behind, and you can see very quickly that Pritchard in the blue, Kieran in the flat cap, along with Neil quickly on to the heels now. Neil's doing a lot of work here. I think Neil is in danger of burning himself out too early, particularly when you've got people like Mason in the group. Genther pushing onto the back of the group here. Now Gilmore is a lap down here. He has taken a lap out on the way round, so technically not in with the sprint for the finish, but will that stop the youngster going for it? We'll soon find out. Not long to go. Little goes underneath the gantry, the lap board on the right hand side. Pinks into sight. 3 laps left to go. Little being passed here. Genther, Mason, Pritchard, Crosscast, Neil, Little, Gilmore, Smith, Whitelaw, Darrell Tatchell-Waller, Russ Downing in there. Everybody is sat in this group. Nobody wants to do all of the work on the front, and the pace has just dropped like a stone at the moment. We're down at 45 kph. We were at 50 kph through here last time, and Dorsey is going to see this group coming behind him very quickly as Russ goes up on to the front. Pritchard is marking all of the moves in the blue. At the moment, it looks like it's Little who's gone back up towards the front. We've got 2 left turns from now, and then a right takes us up on to the climb. Less than 3 laps to go, 2.5 laps to go. This is the battle for the first over the line. This is who is going to take top honours today. Will Whitelaw be able to drag this out? Can he put the climbs in? He's had a busy day on the ice cream cart. That's usually an indicator he's not going to be as strong, but we'll see how he's going at the moment. Crosscast Neil in the black moves up on towards the head of affairs, so we're just keeping an eye. Now it's Mason who's moved up. Mason's on there now. Gilmore's gone hard off the front. Is Russ going to chase him down? You can just see Mason is out of the saddle here, and they are looking to try and keep those gaps down. Russ has gone after Gilmore here, and Gilmore very cheekily, after having that lap out, gone on to the front here. We are going to just take a little bit of a run up this group. Neil scrabbling for the back wheels of this group. The Genthers in here, Whitelaw in the orange, Little's in here, Smith's in here, Mason is on the group, Russ is in here as well, and it's Russ dropping down the hillside here with the leading group. We're just riding in with Russ Downing as they go past. You can see just how quickly they go past our red beacon. The yellow beacon seeing the red briefly on the way down here. It will be 2 laps to go as they go round the U-turn in towards the line. These are your leaders. So in yellow and black is Little. In the grey it's Downing with the chevron over the top. Mason in the red and black. It's Kieran Smith in the black with the flat cap. Then Gilmore is a lap down and out. This will be incurring the commissar's wrath if we were unfortunate enough to have any. Then it's Paul Whitelaw in here. So Gilmore with issues, but I think they're taking pity on him, leaving him in there. 2 laps to go. Has he got the answer to these guys? He's going to be getting a great workout here with some real fast men on the DCG, and you can see behind the groups are starting to form behind. Genther and Darrell Tatchell-Waller leading the chase behind, but they've got 4 seconds to make up now, 5 seconds to make up to our leader. So it's 5 seconds from Group 1 to Group 2 on the road. You can see them coming behind. It might be 5 seconds, but it's going to feel very precarious at the moment. And everybody just edging and edging. We're now at 41 kph around this corner. Remember, the speed keeps dropping lap after lap because people are putting more and more ferocious attacks on the climb itself. Little on the front in the yellow and black. Downing in the grey. Gilmore in the blue. Moving up. Mason, the big sprinter, in here. Gilmore doing a good job of making it fun, that is for sure, mate. You are indeed. But has he got the legs to take it out? He's got Whitelaw now moving on the front. Whitelaw surely going to put an attack in on the hill. It's got to be a case that the ice cream man's going to be all or nothing on his way out. Is it going to be a 99 or is it going to be a splat on the floor? Now Gilmore's got another big kick on this climb. Downing is putting the pressure on behind, but the group should have him. They're still at 2 laps to go. Now Whitelaw's gone after him. Is this going to be the trigger that takes them cleared? So who is going to pay the price on this climb? Little at the back at the moment. He's in trouble. The gaps are being closed down. Whitelaw's gone hard over the top there. And Kieran Smith quickly on the wheels. He knows a danger man when he sees him. It's not just his raspberry ripple ice cream you've got to watch out for. It's the speed in his legs as well as Whitelaw is on his way. But the man at the flat caps sitting on the heels with those near Bolton-esque gloves. The man on the yellow Tron bike is there. But look at this, Little snuck up on them. Little has gone past them. And it looks like it's going to come back together. It's going to be 1 lap to go at the line this time. Little leading in again. He closed that gap down so quickly. You can see behind, Downing has not made that junction, so it looks like the bear at the moment has been caged and he's distanced into the background. Now, can he break free of those chains? It's going to be a 1 lap to go as they come down and through. Little leading. There you go, 1 lap to go. Little in that yellow and black. Is it going to be Little's day? He's got Whitelaw with him. So Downing getting caught out by a lapped rider. He got spat out by a lap rider there. Bad news there, Mr. Gilmore. I expect that grumpy bear to have a go at you in a little bit. We'll see what he has to say. Not that Russ would ever have done a thing like that in his youth. Not much. So it is Little on the front in the yellow. It's Whitelaw in the orange with the goggles on. In the black with the flat cap. That is Kieran Smith. Then Matt Gilmore, 1 lap down, is in there. So he's not going to finish this lap. He's just mixing it up and interfering with the riders. Colin Docker will be spitting feathers if he is watching in the background. But you can see at the moment, these are the riders on the way in and through now. Riding in with Kieran at the moment. He's put the aero boost in early. He's gone on the front. So it looks like he wants to be on that climb first. He's sort of keeping the pressure on. He's using that aero to keep the pace high into the climb, maybe to keep some of the legs at bay here. So Kieran now 8.1 watts per kilo. Gilmore, the youngsters, at 12 watts per kilo up that climb. That's just ridiculous. It's just crazy numbers after the Donny Chaingang. But you know what? Nobody put a massive attack in there. Absolutely nobody went for the big digs on the way through. And look at this. Little is using his his draft advantage. He's using his draft power up there when there was a lapped rider to go clear, using it to break free of the group. But quickly behind him came Whitelaw. But look at this. Whitelaw goes on the front and Little has got the measure of him here. This is going to be really interesting. Behind, you just see Kieran Smith and Matt Gilmore. Now, if Matt Gilmore comes across the line, technically he won't have won it because he's a lap down, no laps out allowed. You can see in the numbers by the side, he's 2k down, basically 1.9k down on the 3 riders he's with. He's just in here just to be a disruptive influence, typical teenager. So Little in the yellow and black could be leading this out. Sorry, but look at this. There's a kick gone early. This is Kieran Smith. He's gone hard. He's gone soon. Has he gone too soon? The kicks are coming behind. Little's got nothing to match this. Look at this. He's in through the line. And it is Kieran Smith, then Whitelaw. Then it is going to be Little coming in for 3rd place. It's going to be Gilmore with another lap to go, which means it's going to be Downing. I suspect it's going to come in next into the finish. We're just taking a little bit of a look up the road. So it is going to be Downing, I think, who's going to take the 4th place. He's round the corner. He's got to keep pushing. Rusto, get rolled on that line. So it looks to me like it is going to be Downing who's going to come across next. Then it's going to be Neil from the Crosscast in 5th. It's Dartashawala in 6th. It's going to be Genther in 7th. It's going to be Sanderson in 8th. It's going to be a 9th place. We've got to take a look back. I think it's going to be Pritchard's going to come across for 9th here. So Pritchard is going to take 9th place when he gets to the line. Lots of lapped riders in between. So Pritchard heading in to the gantry, currently going to be in 9th place. That means that 10th place as they head towards the line, I think, is going to be Varty. So Varty's going to be in 10th place. So it'll be a 10th place for Varty today. We're looking down for the next rider. I think it's going to be Taylor in 11th at the moment. Just keeping an eye. So Varty going to come around that turn. So Matt Pritchard getting a great ride there. He's working really well. Varty putting a big kick in towards the finish there. So he's going to go through 10th place for Varty. Taylor's going to be our next rider in to the finish. Is it going to be, which Taylor is it going to be? It's going to be D Taylor who's going to get this. Then it's going to be, well, let's have a little look. It's going to be Coking going to get it. It's going to be Coking, just gets that from Osman, Martin Ambrose and co. Looks like Peacock and Gang all working their way in through the line there. We're going to just have to drop back a little bit. Apologies if we are missing you as you come in through the line. We've just got to get ourselves back in with our leading riders who are not over distance here at the moment. Easier said than done. We're going to try and get back as Dr. D comes through the finish. I think Andy Hawes is through. Whitelaw on that climb. We're going to drop in with Craig Herring. Craig Herring finished the ride. We are going to drop in with one of our riders, so it's going to be a little bit of a sneaky cut back across as we work our way up the course at the moment. We're just riding in with Nick Dorsey on his way out and around. We're going to try and jump through to our riders who are coming in towards the line. Let's have a little look. Is it going to be Sanderson? Is it going to be Mason who we're going to pick up here? So let's jump in. I think Mason's just finished and come through the line. So Sanderson is the rider we want. So in with Sanderson. There's Gilmore, I think, is on his way into the line. So Gilmore comes in and across the line after finishing with the leaders. A lap down. Sanderson not all that far behind here. So Sanderson is going to finish on this lap. Haywood is not all that far behind him. He's also going to finish on the same lap. I think Kurt must be on pretty much the same lap as Haywood as they go in towards the line. So Sanderson, the next rider through. We're going to go back to Haywood. So the moment just riding in with Haywood here, and you can just see these two riders are pushing on at the moment. Haywood will finish, I think, at this passage of the line as goes in and through at 48.9 behind. I think it's going to be Malin who's going to come through to finish there. So Malin comes through for the finish. We're going to just drop back towards our beacon or similar. Easier said than done at the moment. So in with the red beacon. This is our last one on the course at the moment, which means that if we drop ourselves right the way around the course, it's going to be Killingsworth just coming in ahead of Dorsey. Then it's going to be Sean Ferron, our next rider, heading in towards the line. As soon as we get a gap, we will try and get back to Russ. It may well be just after everybody finishes at this pace. Catley kicking in towards the line, just being closed down on by Ted Inslee coming in through the line. Looks like Carl Johnson's going to be chasing all the way in here as he heads in towards the finish. So it's going to be Johnson next. So Johnson putting a massive kick in there. So we're going to drop back then to Sutcliffe, who's just around the turn. So it's going to be Sutcliffe, our next rider, heading into the finish behind. I think there's going to be a sprint here between Simon Runnit and Miss Cookie. Is Cookie going to pop but Runnit on the line? It's going to be very close here actually as they head into the line. We're going to drop back a little bit more because we are on the hunt for our last riders out on course. So Singleton, I think, is the last rider in the pack, and that means that, in theory, famous last words, the next man to finish is going to be Kerr from Epworth Warriors. Then it should be Hayward, who didn't finish last lap, but he's going to finish this lap. Then Singleton's group, and Hayward, I think, is going to see the gang coming up behind at the moment. So then it's Singleton, Bolt, Parsons, Lindley. Cannon is still a fair distance down on the way through. Just behind them is going to be Pattison. So I think it's going to be Kerr, who's going to be our next rider through. I think Pattison has still got one more lap to go. So on the descent comes Kerr. So Martin Bolt just joining the bus. And welcome on board from Andrew Singleton. As Kerr coming in to the turn. So the next rider is going to be Andrew Kerr from Epworth Warriors. Good ride, mate. Well done. Big sprint in to the finish. 16 seconds behind is going to be Hayward. Hayward has a slight gap on those chasers behind. If we get up in the sky, we're going to try and get a little bit of a view back from him. Here they come. That pack is coming. So this is going to be tight here because Hayward is pushing on here at the moment, and Bolt is leading the charge behind. Can he make it back in time? So it's Hayward, then it's Bolt, Parsons. Oh, Parsons, I think, just getting that. Singleton, our beacon, coming through. Then Tom Lindley after being towed in towards the line. We're going to drop in. We think we still have one or two riders out on course, which means that we are going to drop in with Steve Cannon, who's on his way into the line. Now, Cannon still has at least a lap to go, I think, at the moment, as he heads out, which means two riders out on course. Pattison just up at the top of the climb and Cannon on the way in, which means we might just about get a chance to head across to the one and only Russ. So let's have a look. Let's see if we can get hold of Mr. Downing. Russ, are you alive still, mate? Oh, no answer came. The reply. Let's have a little try. Let's hit a couple more buttons. Let's see if we can get the tech to work. That sounds better. Russ, how are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I was just going to say, I was just nearly about to climb off. You were taking that long to get me, and I'm absolutely done.
Well, I've got to say, it's really hard to find a gap because it's such a short course. I mean, at 1.9k, it's a great course to ride or to race. And it's frantic in that finish. I mean, it's so fast coming down. And what a great ride from that go. I mean, it just looks horrific to try and stay with those multiple attacks.
Yeah, it was one attack too many for me, either going with them or making them myself. So, and I always put a big one in 2 laps to go, so I did that, and then I never recovered. And yeah, Mr. Gilmore, yellow card there, you know, take the yellow beacon out of the back, and he's a lap down. So I'm going to have a word with Andy Owens and Mick Bennett from the Tour Series and see what we can do about it, you know.
Yeah, I know they've got plenty of experience of riders coming from a lap down to muck up the racing, haven't they? Let's face it. That infamous. I'm right in thinking it was Durham, wasn't it?
As the old party trick with it. Oh, I've gone straight on. Oh, I have a lap out there. Oh, right, now I'm going to lead my riders out to the bottom of the climb and take people straight on. But no, it's all good fun. You know, Matt obviously had a problem there, but you know he's going well, so I'm sure he'll just rip it up on the next hilly one and just ride away, and I won't even be able to tell him off.
Well, no, and in fairness to Matt, it's not like he actually needed a lap down. He's incredibly quick rider in his own right. We know he can be right up there at the finish, and it's great to see him back on the Chaingang.
Yeah, you know, he's started racing, I think, now, hasn't he? And you know, it's just good. You know, people know that they can have a great workout. You know, it's Alex Dowse, one of Dino's old coach riders. He's back on the gang, and he said, "Oh, he's going to come back on more often." Because you know, you go away, you think it's great outdoors, but then you realise how good the Chaingang is online. So it's bloody hard work. And I've got a stripy, a KOM jumper on now. I don't know how I got that.
I hate to tell you, mate. I think you've inherited it because people climbed off.
I think exactly. So they've gone on to a new world.
That's my favourite trick. Let everybody go back onto a new world. Stay on the world long enough, you'll get a jumper. It's guaranteed.
I did get one yesterday on the new land.
Yeah, on the islands.
Yeah, 6 minute KOM. So I was squeezing on there. Did it first lap 10 minutes, and then second lap I did it in 6:01 or something. So I was moving.
You definitely were moving there, mate. That's a good result. A 6 minute KOM. Don't do anything longer than 30 seconds if I can help it these days. Well, we've got to say a massive thank you to Nonnas before we disappear, and we follow our last rider out on circuit at the moment. That is going to be Steve Cannon coming in. And say huge thank you to Stefano and Maurizio. Remember, guys, to support the guys who support your sport, and it's a very pleasurable supporting these guys because there is only one Nonnas in Sheffield, and it is absolutely fantastic place to go. So always good fun being there, and thank you to the guys from me, and I'm sure Russ feels the same.
Yeah, I said cheers, guys, and hopefully things get a little bit back to normal this weekend, and you get very busy. And I'm trying to call in actually, see if we're out in the peak for a walk, and then call in for a little spritzer or something.
Well, it's always a great place to go say hi to the gang. So we're going to let you get off, Russ, because that was pretty frantic tonight. Have a great weekend. Remember, if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Sports Club, without you, we can't make this happen. A number of you still need to rejoin. If you're going to rejoin, you need to do it. Please do it by the end of the month. Don't leave it till the day of the next ride, because it means we've got to do like double the emails and everybody gets bombarded. So make sure you get joined as soon as you can. Remember, we've got that ticket out which runs all the way to the end of December now, if you want to do that, just to save you having to do it repeatedly. So cheers, Russ. We're going to let you get warmed down, and we're going to head out. I'm going to I think it's going to be a Moretti for me.
Oh, sounds good, mate. Nice work.
A Moretti and a Lion Bar, because mine there was no time to grab any food on the way through that one. Proper crit.
Yeah, no fuel in there, mate.
That's for sure. Fresh air and chocolate. Gotta love it. Well, cheers, Russ. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, Matt. Good job, mate, and well done, everyone.
So great to catch up with Russ. Don't forget, we're going to be back here on Tuesday on the Donny Chaingang. We have another great week lined up for you, and we've got plenty of routes in our pockets kept waiting ready to go, and we're only going to be using those when the best time to use them, and that's why we put the crit in, of course. And Bologna alla Nonnas, the new version of the Bologna course that we have used before, tweaked with a little bit of TLC. We will be back on Tuesday. If you're a member of the DCG gang, you will get the links for the events first. If you're not a member of the DCG gang, the supporters club, then the rides open 25 hours before, and that is because fairly shortly we will be putting the cut-off 1 hour before the ride, and we will then be starting to implement the yellow card, red card band system for riders who don't know how to play the game, can't listen, or have mysterious repeated tech dropouts. But that's all for the future. In the meantime, enjoy yourselves. We will catch up with you soon. From me, Matt Payne, from Russ, and from all of the gang on the Donny Chaingang. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again soon.